Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday live stream. So it's just one of those days, another pullback day. I think this is day 2 or day 3, and things are looking a little bit in the red, but is that everything? I don't think it is. But I will tell you, it's getting so bad that there are ominous signs on the horizon. I think you've seen this. This is the Satoshi Nakamoto statue, and looks very nice there in Laguna. And this was actually stolen yesterday. And if there's any kind of ominous warning signs that are out there, this could be one of those calls. Again, Satoshi statue going to Switzerland appears to have been stolen. Nice statue too, very nice. And that is gone. Somebody ripped that off. And of course, for our markets, ominous signs, pretty red day. And some may say that this is the end all be all, and this is a crash and it's awful. Or some of us could just say, well, it's in the pullback, and that's just pretty much how it is. So in the last 24 hours or so, we've lost almost 6% market cap. We were over 4 trillion. Now we're at 3.7. Looks like we lost around $300 billion. But hey, what's a couple $100 billion among friends, right? 24 hours, Bitcoin's bleeding, I think, the least out of most things. Ethereum's down 3, XRP 7, blah, blah, blah. You know all this stuff. Oh, Tron's only down 1%. So, hey, congratulations. You're beating Bitcoin at only down 1%. So what's going on here? It is the basics of investing, right? Nothing goes up forever. And if we expect up only, we're going to be highly disappointed. However, as a quick reminder for everybody, all of our all-time highs, usually the 4-year cycles, are still intact. We are still in that 4-year cycle channel. August, historically speaking, could potentially be a negative month. Over every 4 years or so, it actually is green. September is usually down, but every single all-time high in the 4-year cycles is always November or December. It happened in 2013. It happened in 2017. It happened in 2021. And we'll see if it comes into 2025. But historically speaking, that is accurate. So what's going on today? Well, first of all, Jamie Dimon, who is he's going to speak here real quick. And it's always interesting to hear him actually talk about this as opposed to just reading some comments. But he is really reasonably bullish on, as he calls it, blockchain technology. Now you listen to this. This is about 30 seconds or so. Again, it always kind of makes me interested because this guy, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase Bank, has been very antagonistic about everything having to do with blockchain. But take a listen to this.
So I'm a believer in stablecoin, a believer in blockchain, not personally a believer in Bitcoin itself. But you're the customer. I don't like to tell customers what they can and can't do with their money. You can now move money from Chase to Coinbase. We're going to make it easier for people. They've agreed how to use our APIs, which we think is a good thing. So we'll be in it, and we'll see.
We'll see. So it's a funny thing there. 2 things. First of all, he says, we in Coinbase have an agreement. We're going to have an API integration, not going to be using Plaid, going to be directly to JP Morgan. And that's great. And of course, that'll allow all the customers. And remember, this is no small bank. This is one of the largest banks in the entire planet. And when they're able to do that, hook up into Coinbase, that could be a pretty big boom for the industry. Will it be the ultimate end all be all? Not for sure. But I think there's a big enough tent for everybody. And then also when he says, I don't like to tell people what to do, what they can and can't do with their money. He may not like to, but his bank sure does do that a lot. And they actually shut down accounts, and they use to shut down accounts for people with crypto and digital assets. So it's just interesting to see him actually pivot. But what he talked about, stablecoins, is what I've been talking about, or we've been talking about on this channel for quite some time. Stablecoins, even though you really can't do much as far as like invest in stablecoins, you can invest in the rails that they're built on. And we talked about this many times, but it's always good to revisit to see what the updates are. This is Visa on-chain analytics, and they are tracking all of the top stablecoin chains and what they're doing as far as transaction count and transaction volume. And it's very interesting to see what's going on. And you can just take a look here. Volume itself, how did we end up in July? So July 2025, the top chains as far as transaction volume, as we can see right here, the number one chain was Ethereum. And transaction volume was at 338 billion. And very close behind that was Tron at 325 billion. Now, if we go down here, we can see that Tron was actually the leader, and it kind of flip-flops back and forth, I should say. Tron, Ethereum, Ethereum, Tron, so on and so forth. But don't discount Tron, especially if you're an American like myself. I don't use Tron that much, but apparently globally, it's a pretty big thing. Below Tron, and I would say way below Tron and Ethereum, is Binance Smart Chain at 138 billion. And way below that is Solana at 47 billion. And below that is Base and Arbitrum at only 30 billion, which coincidentally was chosen by Robinhood to tokenize real-world assets and stocks. Interesting, right? Layer 2 solution. And so on and so forth. So that is just the transaction volume. What about the transaction count by blockchain? Well, we can see here the volume, pretty good. Binance Smart Chain in July crushed it, 124 million. Tron, 46.87 million. Solana, 22. Polygon, 15.4. Base, and so forth. We're going to see over here pretty much the same thing. BSC, Tron. So if you're looking for like, which ones should I get into? Well, there's ones that you could actually do a little bit more research onto. And then if we go over here to DefiLlama, DefiLlama.com, you see this thing called stablecoins right here. You click on stablecoins and you go to chains, you can see which ones are the most used. And this also coincides with what we just talked about. Ethereum is crushing it at 50.42%. And then Tron at 31. And then comes like stuff like Solana and Binance Smart Chain and Hyperliquid and whatever, Base, so on and so forth. So if you're looking for something to get into, that might be a couple of options. Now, let me just think about that in the comments section. And also, speaking of Tron, again, I'm an American. I don't really use Tron that much. Apparently in Southeast Asia and parts of EU and stuff around the globe outside, apparently it's a big deal. Tron recognized by crypto rank Masari and Nansen, 916 million in revenue, almost a billion, 81 billion in supply in H1 or half of the year, 2025. This is what we got. I found this interesting because I'm like, first of all, I found this interesting because let's be honest, I have a big fat bag of Tron, if you couldn't tell. And I found it interesting because I'm like, hey, that's good news for me and anybody who holds Tron. So stick with me. We'll get to SUI and Arthur Hayes selling off and all that great stuff, but just hold on. So Tron dominant, or excuse me, USDT or Tether dominance expands. The USDT supply on Tron surged to 41%. It's a lot. It's 81 billion, reinforcing the network's position. Tron ranked top 3 among all blockchains and average daily active addresses. Interesting. I guess people are using this. Tron achieved nearly $1 billion in quarterly revenue by Q2 2025, representing the network's highest revenue to date. And Tron led all blockchain platforms in revenue burn during H1 with nearly, wow, they burned 319 million, surpassing Ethereum and Solana. This is why I think it's done so well. Ecosystem momentum was fueled by collaborations with Privy and Bridge, both, Stripe. You know what Stripe companies are? Stripe, it's a payment processor, kind of like PayPal, and they're pretty much global as well. They're huge. Aeon Pay and other alongside. Daily average transaction increased almost 13% quarter over quarter from 7.7 million to 8.6, and daily active addresses grew almost 6% quarter over quarter. It's the second largest stablecoin on Tron, or excuse me, stablecoin activity. Second largest stablecoin on Tron, USDD was up 71%, but it's only 250 million, now 432 million, so $500 million. So that's what's going on in the Tron world. I'm pretty sure most of you are like, who cares? I get it. I didn't get it either, but just something to look into maybe as we move forward. And lastly, in the altcoin space, talk SUI. And the reason why I put all this stuff together in a certain way is because I want to give you some good news, which we just heard, it's pretty good. We talked about Q4. We talked about Jamie Dimon being all pumped up on stable coins, the stablecoin rails, the different chains. Now I want to get into something that is not so good. And you'll understand this in a second. SUI, I also own a big fat bag of SUI. Yeah, Meme gets it right. We know how to say it. SUI. That's how you say it. SUI. So SUI Treasury Firm, Mill City shares drop as it eyes raising additional $500 million. I'm going to tell you why this is bad news in a second. Just stick with me. Short-term lender Mill City Ventures is seeking to buy $500 million. Short-term lender Mill City Ventures. Remember this, short-term lender Mill City Ventures. The announcement follows Thursday's news that Mill City has spent, wow, they spent $277 million to buy 76 million SUI tokens. On Friday, the company said AGP, Alliance Global Partners, had agreed to provide an equity line, which will allow it to sell up to $500 million worth of Mill City common stock. So they're a publicly traded company. And they state any proceeds from the equity line, which included no commitment fee, will be used to further the company's SUI Treasury strategy. Quite interesting. So I had to take a look. I'm like, what the heck is Mill City Ventures? I've never heard of them in my life. I mean, nobody knows every single business out there, right? Obviously. I want you to look at this chart and tell me when you think they actually made that announcement of SUI. I mean, I could be wrong here. Here's 1 day, the daily, it's down. Here's 5 day, also down. That's okay because the S&P 500 is down too, and pretty much everything else. Here's over a month. Oh, look at this. This is July 2nd, 3rd. Here's July 24th at $1.85, and then $6 almost. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they might have talked about SUI at this point. I could be wrong. 6 months. Oh, look at that. Then 1 year, then 5 years, then max. So they did pretty good in 2021. That was a great year for everybody, right? Remember that? Just got a coronavirus, money printing, rates were good. Everybody bought everything, bunch of risky degens. And now here we are. And before everybody says, Mill City trash. Remember, this also, if you take a look at MicroStrategy, that's pretty much what their stock looked like too. They got in 2001, well, before 2001, in the dot-com era, and they didn't do anything for like 2 decades. Excuse me. And then they put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and boom, everything blew up. Why is this a bad deal? Here's what's up. So I have a thesis, and the thesis is very simple. All these businesses that are putting altcoins and Bitcoin a little bit as well on their balance sheet, I don't think that 100% of them are altruistic in doing this because they're in it for the tech, bro. I think they're doing it because they want to pump the price. I could be wrong. I don't know Mill City Ventures. Maybe they'd love it. And it sounds like they do. But I'm just thinking as time goes on and when we go into a bear market, I think this is going to be the reason why we crash even harder is because these companies are going to offload their altcoins. So what the heck is Mill City Ventures? It's a principal investment firm specializing in investments in debt and equity securities of public and private companies to fund their operations, whether it's a startup, acquisition, or growth. Sounds pretty good and professional. However, it was formerly known as Poker Magic Inc. Founded in January 2006 and is based in Wayzata, Minnesota. I don't know what Poker Magic Inc. is, but you go from Poker Magic Inc. to principal investment firm, Specialty Investments. Kind of strange. But that's where we're at. So good luck to them, and hopefully they don't dump on us. And then I actually take a look at their website, and it's all SUI. I don't think there's really too much about their old operations. And SUI, it's not like SUI's been around forever. I mean, these guys, as far as their stock that I can tell, it goes back to 2020. SUI just came out in 2023. So they are going pretty deep. Let's see if they can hold on. And then lastly, Arthur Hayes. That's Arthur Hayes right there. And I just saw this post from Arthur Hayes. And I guess it was revealed that Arthur just sold a bunch of Ethereum, 8.32 million. Anna? I don't know. 7.76 million worth of, or 4.62 million worth of that. And he sold Pepe, 414,000. And I've gotten a couple messages and everybody's freaking out. And I'm like, who cares? This guy's probably a billionaire and he has to fund something random. But Arthur Hayes says here, why did I sell? Well, U.S. tariff bill coming due in third quarter. Of course, we just started the tariffs in August 1st. At least the market believes that. after the NFP print. That is the non-farm payroll print, where we had adjustments of jobs, and we've somehow miraculously lost 250,000 jobs somehow as far as the revision. And we talked about how odd that was yesterday. So yes, this guy sold, some other people sold, and that's pretty much why we are in a pullback situation right here. Also, a guy over at Coin Bureau did a great job about leverage and why when things sell off, then even more things sell off, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Thank you to all your leverage traders for allowing me to buy at cheap rates. And that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. Now we'll do a little Q&A, and we'll go from here. And lastly, I will say this before anybody asks, I forgot to say this, that I'm still buying. I'm buying right now, and I bought today. And if it goes down tomorrow, I will buy again. I didn't come here just to get a measly, paltry 10% increase in what's going on. I've been buying since 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. And I still think we got room to run. Could be wrong, but I got time. What's your questions? We'll go from there. Let's see. Ian says, he is a shill, but he has mad knowledgeable about the macro. Arthur's a smart guy. And if you want to hear some explanations boiled down, and that's the thing. What was it? Albert Einstein said everything should be made as simple as possible, but not too simple. And he does a great job of breaking things down as far as the macro. And even I can understand. I'm not that smart. So pretty good. Let's see. Change says, Arthur looks like a bum in every interview. He's also the biggest shiller of Aptos and whatever coin he's holding. Look, we're all shills. Everybody's a shill. I don't know too many people who don't own Bitcoin and talk about Bitcoin constantly. Let's call a spade a spade. It is what it is, right? I talked about Tron today. I talked about SUI. Why did I have it? Because my altruism tendencies? No, because I own a big fat bag of it. So with Arthur, sure. He probably talks about it because he owns a boatload of it. And also all the very richest people I know, they don't dress up. And usually they just like look like, you know, kind of shifty characters. Like I saw Happy Gilmore 2 with Adam Sandler a couple of days ago. It's okay. But I always see Adam Sandler in these interviews and he dresses like a bum too. And I'm like, I know that guy's got hundreds of millions of dollars. So yeah, it just is what it is. Let's see what else. Hayes has always been a thief, yet people still respect him. I just think that he's going to break some things down pretty well. Arthur does know. This is going to be the Arthur Hayes hour. Exactly. Here's a shill. You should buy Bitcoin. Exactly. I'm going to guess Ian also owns Bitcoin. Yeah. Meme says, we have to spread the word. I still cannot believe how many people still think crypto is shady. Yeah, you know, it's because you have people like Elizabeth Warren who's really good at really, you know, turning the screws on telling people just how awful crypto is, even though she has really no plan outside of that. And I'm not a big fan of Elizabeth Warren whatsoever. I don't think anybody here really is. If you're in Massachusetts, let me know how great she is. That'd be interesting. I set up a Fidelity account. Yeah, very nice, LAX. Got it. Ryan, I finally got a TANGEM wallet thanks to the advice. You're welcome. Oh, also, if you guys, I'm going to do another TANGEM giveaway. So I'll have some details tomorrow when Jerry V. Hall comes on. But TANGEM giveaway, I'm going to give away 2 wallets. If you can't wait for it, great. Go and grab one. Links in the description. Also, you can use 2 codes now. Code D.A.N, D-A-N, gets you 10% off. And you put in friends, F-R-I-E-N-D-S, you also get an additional 5% off. Because we're all friends. Chucker. Hey, Rob, do you feel some of the retail buyers are going for the ETFs? I feel more and more people I know say they're buying Bitcoin, but it's ETF Bitcoin. Yes, but remember, it's not paper Bitcoin. You know, Fidelity, BlackRock, all of them, they have to hold 1-to-1 Bitcoin, and there has to be custodial services, which is usually Coinbase Prime. So even me, I'll be honest with everybody, I was going to do it too. I was going to sell all my Bitcoin and just put in an ETF. Why would I do that? It's because I'm paranoid. And like for me, I'm more in the public eye. People know where I live. I mean, not specifically where I live, but they can get me if they really need to. And I was like, this is like 5-6 months ago. I was thinking I should just put it all in ETF, because if I get wrench attacked and something happens to me, it's gonna be very hard for them to pull that money out of the ETF. It just is. And then it's easily more tracked because it's bank to bank, because you gotta sell it. But I didn't. And what I did was, there's a link in the description. It's called portfolio diversification. And what I did was I have more TANGEM wallets, but I don't keep them on me. They're actually scattered. And also I use iTRUST for custodial services. And with iTRUST, with the custody services, they use the same as BlackRock and MicroStrategy, which is Coinbase Prime. And it's the same thing. They don't deal in Bitcoin when you take it off. They deal in cash. So if something happens to me, at least I'm not going to get all of it. But Chucker, it's a good question. I think it's just an easier way for people to do it. I know people will say, well, not your keys, not your crypto. That's true, but some people just don't want to deal with it. You know, how many hack stories have we heard so far? I mean, I think correct me in the comments, but when the not your keys, not your crypto, there was still hacks going on, but it wasn't like Bitcoin wasn't around $100,000, and just the average Joe wasn't a multi-millionaire, 100 millionaire, something like that, or just and nobody really knew about it. Now that people know about it, I just saw this, it was a CNN or MSNBC piece on wrench attacks, and a lady got attacked for having $150,000 worth of Bitcoin in some neighborhood. It wasn't like that much. I don't think it's like life, you know, like I'm going to risk my life to rob somebody, but it happened. And I just think to myself, you know, it's just getting to be too much hassle. And then people are getting targeted, and depending on where you live, someone's like, you know what? It's not paper Bitcoin. It's held 1-to-1. If you want to do an ETF, go for it, man. That's long answer. Okay, not enough. Chef says, even if there is no bull run this year, who cares? Keep DCAing and look back in a few years and be grateful. Yeah, I mean, maybe it extends to 2026. I have no idea. But my question is this. Everybody here has done the same thing, I think, primarily. First of all, my audience is you either bought a bunch in the bear market or a little bit in the bear market, or you are entrepreneurs. It's one of those three things, everybody who watches my channel. So my question is this: if you were investing, hopefully not everything, but you were doing a reasonable amount, what else can you invest in that you can get these types of returns? I mean, it's not like you can put it into treasuries. It's not like you can put this into, I mean, gold did pretty good, but I mean, even if you would have done straight up Bitcoin, you would have beat that. And then what about the S&P 500? Did it really do super fan? I mean, it did good, but you still had outsized gains over here. And what about even like real estate? And I do that, and I got crushed as far as like returns compared to if I just would have done Bitcoin. So either there's no bull run this year, what can you invest in that you get these types of returns? Just curious. All right. Marty, Rob, is there anything that would stop you from buying crypto? My friend is telling me to ask. Well, to stop buying crypto, there's a few things. First of all, if we go into like World War III, I know people would say, well, I would still buy it. Look, if we go into like big, huge wars, all risk assets go away. They're going to get sold off. And that's just pretty much how it is. Even like people would say, well, gold does pretty well when we talk about recessions for the first so many days or so. Then it kind of levels off and actually decreases and people take profits off it. Gold will still do well. So if you have like major wars, I don't think that these risk-on assets, even though some people say, well, Bitcoin really isn't risk-on asset because of how it's valuated and its store of value. And I get it. But I think it would go down pretty quickly. So there is something like that. As far as like for other things, there's a host of other stuff. If we start to see rates being raised, which I don't think that's going to happen, I think we're like at around 80%, 82. Let me see. What's the chances of us getting a rate cut next in September? I'm going to guess it's more than 40% like last time. Oh yeah, look at that. Check this out. We're at 80% chance of a rate cut of 25 basis points. So let's say the other way, if we started to like raise rates, I'd be like, you know what, maybe not so good. Although, now I even take that back, because if they raise rates, then we'd start to see lower Bitcoin and certain altcoins that I like, and that would just decrease. I would probably just buy it then because the price goes down. I'll just wait. I did the same thing in 2020 and it worked out pretty well. So it's inevitable. A lot of stuff I would say no, but I'm sure there's something. Robbie said, but what else are you DCAing besides SUI? So Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, SUI, and I get the occasional Tron. I know people would say, well, what about this? What about that? Or that? Look, whatever you say, I probably own. I'm just right at this point, probably not dollar cost averaging that, but pretty good chance. You're like, what about Caspa? I own that. What about Avalanche? I own that. What about Fartcoin? Sure. So that's what I'm doing right now. And my base case is, I know stable coins are coming. There's going to be a push for it. We just took a look at that. It's going to be pushed forward by the US government. Why wouldn't I get into the top chains that are doing with stable coins? I think that's the big play for me. But if you want to get riskier, there's a lot of stuff out there. People feel they don't understand. I told a customer to buy Bitcoin. That's ballsy. I don't even do it anymore. Yeah. Wilson says, Orange Man is worse than Arthur, Sailor, or BlackRock. But they making their money. Don't have time to point fingers. We're here to make money and run. Sure. It's very true. You'll never meet a poor politician. Oh, there's a new bill that looks like it might go, I think it's past the committee to stop politicians, senators, and congressmen and women from buying stocks. And it looks like that one has a pretty good support. And this might actually, I'm just kidding. It'll never happen. So it was a thing that was sent to me and I go, oh, that looks pretty good. Like now senators and politicians and all that stuff, they're going to say, no, we're not going to invest into stocks or equities. And people are excited about it. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to pass. I've seen those 30 years. They never go through. Same here, been using Ledger Nano. Yeah, I did too. Good stuff. Well, Bill says, Rob, I sell when you sell. Next cycle, like human, I'll be going to Tangem too. Sounds good. Warren STDS. Why tell anyone what wallet you use? Yeah, exactly. I followed your iTRUST lead and I'm just ignoring the account. Yeah. Cheetah said, I checked your education website, Dan. Just crypto, good contact, but user interface can be made easier for newbies, to be honest. Let's see. God dang it. Let me log in with everybody seeing it. Da-da-da. There we go. So, Dan teaches crypto. 100% free, always will be free. So let's see. So you got the website. Log in. Members area. Watch this first, all right. Course modules. This is the one that everybody has to start here, module 1. And when you're here, you just start playing these videos. And I got 1, let's see, golden rules, avoid all the scams, avoid more AI scams. This is a good one, portfolio storage diversification. Just watch that video, play right there. Wow, that's loud. Then I ask you questions here so you know that I Or so I know that you actually watch it. Just like simple questions that you can answer. Dynamic DCA, that's a good one. Which one is this? Oh, Kraken exchange and how to beat the spread. That's a good one. All right. So this one, maybe this part up here maybe needs a little button or something. Next module, basics, inflation, why Bitcoin. Oh, this is a good one with Simon Dixon. What is blockchain, smart contracts, all that stuff. What do we got? Investing, dollar cost average. I mean, maybe I can make it a little faster. I don't know. Let me know what the problems is in the comments for everybody who's been there. Mix, jump in the pool. It's fake. I can't jump into a fake pool. This is my mom's house. I'm in her basement. Very nice green screen though. Facts, chef. Honestly, the longer I'm in the market, the more price agnostic I am. Right. Grant says people bash each other for looking at them wrong. Anything over $1 is a bonus to crooks. Yeah, that's true. Nah, Mullet's here. It's a green screen. Exactly. It's a green screen. The weakest link. Let's see. That's a good one. That's a good way to look at it. Nasty Naughty says it's a savings account on steroids, in my opinion. It's a good idea. Good way to actually say things like, hey, you know, what kind of yield do you get on your savings account? 1%, 0.09%, whatever it is. You can just say, hey, you know, like investing into Bitcoin and crypto is like a savings account on steroids. Just stick around. Nobody's ever lost money if you've been 4 years or more. That's a fact. Something like that. Nicholas says, can you explain what a wrench attack is and how can we avoid it? First of all, you're going to need a gun. And also, if you're in a great state like Texas, you can have an open carry license and you can shoot anybody who comes up to you. That's not true. Can't shoot everybody. But here's the thing. A wrench attack is as such. People will target you because usually you post about how much money you have or how much you invested into crypto and you give a specific amount, or even you don't give a specific amount, you show off your new Lambo, whatever else. And somebody knows somebody and social media, like, I know that. I know where this guy lives and I'm gonna go get him. So a wrench attack is essentially somebody, a really interesting one was the one in Chicago where a guy goes to the door, rings the doorbell, guy answers, can I help you? Yeah, I'm really sorry. I came in and I clipped the side of your fence here and I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. Can we come out and we can share information as far as like insurance? He's like, oh yeah, thanks for letting me know. He walks out, turns the corner, and there's like 3 guys, masks and guns. Get inside the effing house, lock the door, give us all your crypto. And essentially, they just say that wrench attack is like the physical act of taking somebody, not just hostage, but extracting any kind of funds through force. So over that time frame, I think with that one, they were able to take millions of dollars because it's very easy. I mean, if you have like Bitcoin in a wallet, you can just say transfer from here to here. We'll do a mixer. No one can find it. Done. Right. And I guess these were Chinese nationalists that were doing it in Chicago. Crazy, right? So he lost funds. There was multiple people. They split up. I think 2 or 3 went back to China. Other ones were caught in the Mexican border, but all those funds were gone. So that's it. So how do you avoid it? Well, you don't post stuff. You know, you say, you don't talk about, like today, I went to go play volleyball. A friend of mine's like, I was telling him about Bitcoin because he was asking. And then he's like, well, how much do you have? And I was like, I got enough. I have enough to pay for a pack of bubblegum. That's all you say. Never say how much you have. Don't be flashy. And then just kind of let it go. And that's a big thing. And another thing is, if you don't want to deal with any of that, you either go my route, which is have iTRUST custody it for you. Because if iTRUST custodies yours crypto, and did you know that it's for them to custody it, they're doing it for free? But Rob, nothing's for free. Exactly. So when I send in my Bitcoin to iTRUST, And I'm just going to, like on the video, I said it was around 20 or 30%. I will just tell everybody now, it's a lot more now. That's it. I don't care if you say not your keys, not your crypto. I'm good. I don't have squat on me. So it goes there and they hold it for you. Now, when you want to sell it, they can't sell it. It's like, well, it's Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. Really, it just goes one way, your Bitcoin. And then for you to get that back, it's only cash. And that means that it makes it very difficult for the wrench attackers to say, send it to my wallet, and then I'll do it through a mixer and whatever else. They can't do it. It has to go to a bank account, which that's why there's AML and KYC for all these different accounts, anti-money laundering, know your customer, so that they can be tracked. And it makes it a lot more difficult. And then people will say, well, what if they just, put you at gunpoint and make you go in the bank and withdraw $10 million? The bank doesn't have $10 million. What are you, genius? They maybe have $5,000, maybe $10,000. And even if you take out $10,000 and be like, what are you doing this for? What's going on? And you just sign an affidavit. What's it? It's a pain in the ass. So I think that's a better option. All right. I prefer digital real estate. I learned my lesson on that one. Digital real estate. Remember Metaverse? Going to change everything. Remember Facebook? It used to be called Facebook. Now it's called Meta. And everybody went crazy. Jump into the green screen again. That means I have to pay the people at Fiverr an exorbitant amount to make it look like this is real. I'm not doing that again. Oh, wow. I didn't know this. That Martini guy finally disclosed he was attacked by fake police in England, causing him to leave for Dubai. Yeah, that's it. And Ian's got a good point. If Mad Max times comes, we are in a dystopian future, water is king. Yeah. Water and bullets. Very nice. I got a feeling A is going to rip at some point. Yeah. I don't own it. My friend Bobby owns it. Let's see. What's the most trusted stablecoin? There was one thing I didn't talk about. When Jamie Dimon was referencing that them and Coinbase have a partnership now and that they're big on stablecoins, which stablecoin does Coinbase use almost exclusively? It's USDC, right? So if it's USDC, which is ranked number 7, they have a great deal together. Coinbase and USDC are Circle, Jeremy Allaire. And that, by extension, then, is Jamie Dimon. So if you take a look at USDC, you'd probably want to take a look at, well, how many chains is USDC on? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is Sonic, I don't know what this is, Polkadot, World Chain, XRP Ledger, wow. Tron, Sai, whatever, Hedera, Arbitrum, Optimism, Near, ZK Sync, Unichain Aptos, Base, well, you can't buy that. Algorand, Stellar, Silo, SUI, Avalanche, Polygon, and Solana. So, and like we were talking about, which one of these chains are the biggest chains by stablecoin count, by volume, transaction, and by total dominance? Oh, they're right here. ETH, Tron, Solana, Binance Smart Chain. Just letting you know. So, Ian, how risky are the risk levels of risking? Not that much. Everything's going down, so it's actually doing pretty good. Who's buying Circle the stock? I'm buying it. Pelosi denied everything in the interview. Yeah, you have a salary of, what is it, $170,000 a year now, and somehow you're worth $400 million. I mean, good for her. She's just a great stock trader, or her husband is, I should say. I don't really care, honestly. Good for her. Oh yeah, Dan teaches crypto. Thank you, Mullet. That is the website. Hello, Blue Mountain. certain necklace. Dan, what's going on with the Celsius mining company? Follow Aaron Bennett for Celsius updates. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if that new company, they're trying to still do things. It just seems ridiculous. Celsius, what a worthless trash company that was. Flamer Capital. Did that say USD was less than $1? Not good. It always says stuff like that. It'll bounce around 0.99, 0.98. But what Meme is saying is it's 0.9996. It's okay. It's not like it's the Luna stablecoin. And that's it. That's it. All right, buddy. So that's it for today. Hope you liked today's video. Thumbs up, subscribe, all the great stuff. Tomorrow we'll be doing this a little bit earlier with Jerry V. Hall. Hopefully he's back from his trip and back in Costa Rica. And we'll go from there. So thanks so much for hanging out with me for a little bit. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your weekend. Adios.